Let's get started now. Let's go with this is my teams of organization, and in general we will be having view only. So there are some few files that I have given you, or as a previous meeting recordings I have shared. Some of them are interview discussions and open API, using open API GPT and document understanding how to start. Like this, I'm going to start with one more document or one more notes. This is for UiPath Orchestrator for job interviews. Our focus is majorly to check our work or how to prepare for jobs and interviews. That's the major target of the complete meeting. I'll forward these notes at the end of this meeting. For now, let's go ahead and get started with all the information. Okay, so if how many of you are new to UiPath or haven't started anything with UiPath? Okay, I have only 4 members, so I'll give you a quick update on what is what. Now, when we are working with UiPath is used for, or UiPath started with a tool that is used for automation, software automation. While we are working with UiPath, we need to work on 3 different applications. One of the application is UiPath Robot or Assistant. Second one is UiPath Studio or Development Environment. And the third one is UiPath Orchestrator. Okay. Now, I'm not going to discuss in detail about Robot or Studio. We'll be discussing completely about Orchestrator for this complete session. Maybe in the next further sessions, we'll have a few more sessions on UiPath Robot and Studio as separate sessions. But for now, this is only for Orchestrator. But to give you a quick update, UiPath Robot is the application that runs our code. Now, Studio plays for developing our code. Orchestrator, like the name suggests, it is used to control and schedule or orchestrate and options of automation. Now, when we are working with UiPath Orchestrator, now how can you prepare for interviews or questions about UiPath Orchestrator? One basic question is, what is UiPath Orchestrator and how to access it? How many of you can answer this question? Can you please tell me? You can unmute. You have an option to unmute and talk. What is UiPath Orchestrator and how to access it?
Cloud.uipath.
Okay, you can access using cloud.uipath.com. But what is it?
It is
So
centralized
orchestrator is
location
the
to maintain
centralized
It's a
place
web
or
application.
Okay, do one
maintenance.
thing. One person talk, other people can go ahead and chat. Okay, add your answers in the chat.
Location
Mhm.
to manage all the bots.
Okay, so you have said one use case of UiPath Orchestrator. Do we have anything else?
Yeah, we can start and stop the bots there. We can schedule them. We can manage them. We can manage multiple bots.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we need to monitor the bot and
Hmm.
schedule the bot through unattended or attended bot.
So you're telling about users scheduling the bot. Now, what are the other things? Monitoring the jobs.
Yeah, monitoring the jobs and yeah, track the work.
What else?
Licensing.
We can
Licensing.
store credentials, assets.
Okay, then
We can
Contributor
upload the
docs.
packages, nugget packages.
upload Nugget packages or upload libraries.
Logs.
Daily repetitive tasks.
Daily repetitive tasks is wrong answer.
We can manage the queue items,
Manage queues.
manage assets.
Manage assets I have already written. Okay, manage
Okay.
assets.
Share files using storage buckets.
Great answer. Okay, so we got 8. We'll write few more, but till then, let's go ahead and continue. Any other
Assign
answer?
users.
That's called role-based access control. It's also called as RBAC. Remember this. This is important. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go with cloud.uipath.com. So all the members who are new to UiPath, if you want to access UiPath, the first activity that you must do is log in or sign up and register to cloud.uipath.com. And after that, you will see multiple different options of UiPath. So let's just go with cloud.uipath.com. Okay. So this is my orchestrator. The first time that you see this, you will get something like this, and I'm going to hit on continue. So because I'm using my personal email ID to log in. Okay. And I'll go with this one. Okay. How many types of orchestrators do we have? Do you know that?
Dev orchestrator and production orchestrator.
Those are not types.
Production orchestrator and Dove orchestrator. NP.
No. So
tenants,
there are 2 types.
default tenant.
Cloud orchestrator.
No. Okay. There are 2 types. First thing is enterprise version or and community version. One is
So
community.
unattended or attended?
No,
that
that's
part?
robot. I'm asking about orchestrator.
Okay.
Okay. Now in enterprise version, you can get only cloud. So there are two types of enterprise orchestrator and one type of community based orchestrator. First thing is cloud.uipath.com is a cloud orchestrator. Now when you're using cloud orchestrator, will you be able to control any hardware of UiPath? The answer is no. So this is just a SaaS or software as a service. You cannot control their hardware. You cannot control what will be stored in UiPath. Everything is controlled by which team? By UiPath team. Now, the second version is in enterprise version, there are two types. The first one is cloud orchestrator. When you are logging into an orchestrator, if you can see here, you will get something called, this is the cloud version of orchestrator and this is the organization name. The first link, whatever we have till here, is called the service, and after that this is what my organization is. In the same way, everyone will have their own organizations. Someone will have HP Inc. and someone will have Tech M as their orchestrator name. So these will be registered by the organizations, or they can give their own names. Clear on this? Can you understand now what is this particular word mean? Okay. If you want to give me a feedback, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up so that I can get a notification and I can understand that you are able to understand activities. Fine. Along with this, there is also something called as standalone installer. Now, how can you access all these things and how can you check with these things? In the question mark, you will see downloads. That is also called a resource center. Okay, in resource center, you will have options to download enterprise edition, community edition, orchestrator. So this is used to download your own orchestrator and to host your own orchestrator. Organizations who uses standalone orchestrator or on-prem orchestrator. This is also called as on-prem orchestrator, on-premise orchestrator. Who uses this type of installation? Why not they can just go ahead and register their email IDs? Why do they need standalone or any on-premise orchestrator? Do you know some banking sectors as well as some highly secured environments who doesn't want to share their data to anyone else? Do you want the data to be shared across all the organizations, or should it be confined inside your organization if you are a banking sector?
Private.
It should be private, right? In such conditions, so organizations can host their own orchestrator and the software is provided by UiPath. And once they complete the installation, they can use the service. So instead of having cloud.uipath.com, they will have some other orchestrator email like URL. Some other organizations can have something like http://dev.uipath orchestrator.com. So this is some random URL that they can host and they can use. So it's only data or database will be hosted in your local servers. It will not be hosted in UiPath servers. See, all these points that I'm giving are interview questions. Now, what is the URL of your orchestrator? How many types of orchestrators do you have? All these are interview questions. Okay, that you can derive from. Now, along with this, let's see what are the things that we can do. Now, is there a difference between cloud version and standalone or on-premise orchestrator? What is the difference? There is no difference. Only the access will be restricted to your team. And if you are using cloud orchestrator, then UiPath will be hosting all the accesses and all the details, and you will be accessing them. Like if you're using Instagram, are you going to host your own servers or are you just going to use whatever is available?
Available version.
Exactly. So you don't have your own Instagram hosted. But if you want to do that, you can also do that. You can copy some code and you can download and install. That's a different task, but UiPath is providing us that service. Now, what are the different options that are available in Orchestrator? So as I have mentioned, to download the versions, all you need to do is you can click on this question mark and you can go into downloads, and here you will see the resource center where you can download all the versions. Like if you want to take community version, you can download it from here, and if you want to take enterprise version, you can take it from here, and all the different installers, remote runtime installer, launchpad, everything you can take it from here. Now with community edition, you can take only the latest beta version. So you are the tester for UiPath. Okay, UiPath is giving it for you for free because you are acting as a tester for UiPath. And if everyone tests it and whatever complaints you get, it's for the community alone. All the corrections will be done and it will be released to the enterprise. So in organizations, we will not install community version, we will install only enterprise license. Now, if you see here in community version, we don't have separate other different versions. And if you're seeing in the enterprise edition, we are having multiple other versions. So if there is an automation that's developed in 18, you can install this, and if it's not opening in this particular version, you can directly install this version of Studio and you can open it and run it. Clear on this? How to use or how to install a different version of UiPath Studio? Then again, if you want to install Orchestrator, click on Orchestrator and it will download the installer file. That is the MSI file. I'm not going to do it and I'm not going to show it now. Again, if you want to install only robot in organizations which are using unattended runtimes, they will not install complete Studio. They will install only the robot. So you can install only the robot or Studio. If you want only the robot or Studio, you can download and you can take it from here. You can also install Mac, the robot on Mac. Again, that's a different service. Let's not discuss on that. But yeah, if you creating some cross-platform automations, then yes, you can use Mac to run your robots. And yeah, task mining, desktop recorder client, and all UiPath tools. There are different tools: platform conversion tool, automation cloud migration tool. All these details you have it from here, and UiPath Explorer also. Like again, you can have multiple versions from here. Now, a quick question. Everyone will ask which version of Orchestrator or which version of Studio are you using? Now, if you are using community version and if you are directly going into interview, the answer would be your latest version 2023.12. Is it correct? Is that correct that you will answer 2023.12?
Yeah.
The moment you say 2023.12, they will reject you from the meeting. The reason is none of the enterprise organizations will use community version. And moreover, let's assume that I have the latest version of Studio as 2023.10.3. It means that it released in 10th month of 2023. Here, this is in the 4th month of 2023, 4th month of 2022, 10th month of 2022. Now, did you understand how many times do we have releases in UiPath per year? 2 releases and 6 months apart, April and October. Okay, now let's say that you're going for an interview in the month of April, and if you say that I'm using 2023.4, then again they will reject you. The reason is, since the version is just released now, and if you're saying that I'm using this for the past 1 year, then it's clearly states that you're not working on it, because every organization takes at least 6 months of time after there is a new release. Until they are not starting with a new environment or setup, they will always be 6 months late of the enterprise. The reason is most of the automations or most of the machines are already installed with the previous version, and to upgrade they might think like what will break and what will not break. So they will do a lot of testing before they migrate to the newer versions. So always tell the previous version of Studio or Orchestrator that you're currently working on. Now, the best part about using UiPath Cloud. Now, I'm not going deep into UiPath standalone Orchestrator, but the benefits of using UiPath Cloud Orchestrator are updates are and complete hosting and maintenance is taken by whom? Which team? UiPath. Okay. So we are not going to maintain anything, and we are not going to keep a support team for it to maintain Orchestrator itself. But if you are using enterprise license with standalone installation, now there will not be any updates, and you need to maintain. You need to have a team to maintain. What if I have, so again, orchestrators are released yearly once rather than Studio, which releases 6 months once. Orchestrator releases every yearly once. Now you can also see about Orchestrator or documentation and release status over here. Click here and check with release notes. Now, if you can see here, UiPath Automation Cloud is one thing. Let's go with Orchestrator. Where is the Orchestrator? You can click over here. Now release notes, if you click on release notes, again, that's called Automation Studio standalone. So how many releases do we have per year? One. And if you open and see, again, the updates are continuous, but there is only one release. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you want to see the standalone version, you can click on standalone. Now, if you click on release notes, so this is the standalone version. So earlier it was 2023.10, now it's 2023.10.1. So they will always try to, okay, if you can see here, 2020.10, in the month of October, they are going to release newer versions, and I think the release plan also changed for Orchestrator. Since past 2 years, they are releasing 2 times, 2022.4, along with the Studio, they are releasing it, different versions or upgraded versions. Treat these as your mobile phone upgrades. Every 6 months, you will get a mobile phone upgrade. You will have new UI, new features, new functionality. That's what all these versions are about. Now, in interviews, you will be asked question on what is the difference between previous version and a newer version. You need not tell each and everything, all the differences, because none of the developer or no one remembers them. Something that you can do is check with this release notes and take 2 or 3 points like robot roles and permissions change or classic folders will be removed. So most of the interview questions now will not be asked about classic folders because the complete folders access is removed. Okay, if you want to migrate, you can just see on how to migrate here. Okay, migrating from classic folders. So these are the steps that you have for the migration. So again, I'm not going to discuss about each and every point about Orchestrator, giving you, but rather than giving you quick information on where can you get things faster. Okay, now what are the release versions now that are happening? How is UiPath releasing UiPath Cloud Orchestrator now?
Once per year. Yearly
6 months once. That's what I
Yearly.
said, right? Last since 2012 or 2022, it's releasing two times a year. Along with the studio, it's releasing in the month of October.
April.
April and October.
Release plan April since 2022. Remember this releases April and October. Earlier it was yearly once in October. Okay. So if there is a version released in the month of in the year 2021, what will be the release version?
2021 dot
2021.1.
0.10. But after 2022, you can say 2022.4, 2022.10, 2023.4, 2023.10. Okay, clear on this? Now, how many of you think that this complete cloud.uipath.com is Orchestrator? So
No,
just tell
no,
me
it's not
what.
complete orchestrator.
Okay, what are the other options then?
You can create
So we have
tenant or
Orchestrator, Studio, Admin, and Action Center.
Data
Okay.
service and marketplace.
Okay, let me just give you some details. Now, if you go to cloud.uipath.com, okay, if you go to cloud.uipath.com or if you log into Orchestrator URL, you are logging into Automation Cloud, not Automation Orchestrator. Automation Cloud. Inside Automation Cloud, you have various services. One of the services is Orchestrator. Other service is Admin. The other service is Studio Web. Other service is Insights. Okay. So all these services that you have here, integration service, apps, actions, all these are service. Data service, process. Okay. So if someone is asking about Orchestrator, do you need to explain about Studio, apps, integration service? Do you need to explain about all these things, or is it enough to understand about Orchestrator alone?
enough to explain orchestrator, I think.
Exactly. So don't say that what are you if someone is asking you what are you using an Orchestrator, don't say all the services. You need to fix on Orchestrator, and if they ask you about explain about apps, then you can say that's a part of Automation Cloud. It's not in Orchestrator. Okay, which connects with Orchestrator. Clear? Okay. Now in Orchestrator or in our Automation Cloud, there is something called tenant. Can anyone tell me what is a tenant?
Instance.
What instance?
It's a container where we can store our applications.
It's like organization.
No, it's not an organization. Automation Cloud completely is an organization.
Different environments like development, test, and production.
So tenant can be a logical segregation of environments. Okay. Now in this logical segregation of environments, you can create like here I have one tenant, right? Now I can also create one more tenant called dev. Okay. And I can select where it should be hosted and click on next. And again, this tenant can also have all the services. Click next. And there are no licenses. Click create. Now, how many tenants do I have?
Two.
Now, for a trail environment, you can create at most 3 environments. Okay,
So
if you're
is
using
it like users?
no, it's like dev, production, and QA. Okay, now will every user have access for the prod environment?
Maybe no.
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 Now every support user, will they have access for the dev environment?
No.
Because everyone have their own roles and we should not give access for everyone. So anyone who is having production access or who's having production access have their own roles if they want to deploy something or if they want to maintain. That is a contained environment where they cannot have access to other environment. Okay. Now if you go to your own orchestrator and if you can go into admin and try to create your own tenant, let me know if you are able to create it or not. Please let me know if you are able to create or not. We can wait for couple of minutes. So tenants are multiple, like these are logical segregations. So anyone who are having or any things that is having access for QA cannot be accessed in prod. So that's how we are going to maintain inside organization. We are going to maintain tenants as different environments. Now QA tenant, dev tenant, and prod tenant. Are you able to create tenants or are you getting an error?
I have one doubt.
Yes, go ahead.
For community editions, how many tenants can we create?
That's what I have asked. Were you able to create in community edition? So in community edition, you will have access only for one tenant, and other tenants you are not able to create any other tenants if you're using community version of Orchestrator.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, but since I'm using an enterprise license and since I'm working with an enterprise environment, I'm having option to create as many tenants as I want.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. And
Only
that's
3 you can.
no, I can create as many I want. That's what I'm telling, right? I'm using an enterprise license. I can create as many tenants as I want. And will every user have access to create tenants?
Don't think so.
No.
Only administrator or
Only
as an owner.
administrators and support team. Even in support team, only administrators will have access. Okay. Now let's assume that we are working with dev environment. Now I'm focused on two environments, dev and prod. So let's check with these details. Now scheduling the bots, monitoring the bots, and all these functionalities, will this be accessible, available only in the dev or pro QA, or will it be available in all the environments?
All the environments, I think.
So if you can see here, whatever steps that we are or whatever use cases that we have mentioned, it is common across all the tenants. This is again logical segregation only. And if you want to schedule a robot, you can schedule in dev environment, prod and QA, but you will not have access. So someone working in the dev environment may not have access for the prod because they are developing something. They should not disturb the production environment. So that's the reason these segregations are necessary. Let's go into dev environment. Now here in this dev environment also, or dev tenant also, we have something called as services, licenses, tags, gateway, and settings. Now in the settings, you will have an option to disable the tenant and delete the tenant. That is the reason no one will have access for this. Users can have access to delete as well, but only admins will have access for such activities. Now in the services, again, these all are services. As I have mentioned here, in this automation cloud, so in an automation cloud, it's divided into tenants, and inside tenants, we have different services. Orchestrator and is one of the service. So how this is divided? Automation cloud, tenant, and inside tenant, we will have Orchestrator. We have Orchestrator, prod Orchestrator, and dev Orchestrator. How many orchestrators do we have now in our organization?
3 here.
I have 5. Along with
Five.
virtual personnel, I have citizen, QA, prod, and dev. So all the tenants will have separate orchestrators, separate document understanding, separate actions, separate integration services. Okay. Now one question, guys, please go on mute. Okay. So one question that normally we will have, like, how can I add few more services? Now there is an option for you to click on add services. Here I can add data service as well as task mining as well to these services. Now you can see here there are 3 licenses available. I can cancel it for now. I'm not going to use it because I will be using it some time later. Now here, if you can see, there are multiple options. Log export configuration. Again, this question will not be asked to everyone. Maybe someone who is an admin. You can configure your robot logs to some other orchestrator, like some other place. For example, you don't want to store in UiPath Studio, or you want to have it in UiPath Orchestrator, but you also need to send it to custom logs or custom location. Where can you send that? So if you can see here, storage type, you can give Azure connection string and container name. So this is how, if empty container name will be robot logs, or else you can give your own custom names. So this is how UiPath is providing you an access to store the logs in your own custom location. Now a quick question for everyone. Now how many days can you store logs in UiPath Cloud? How many days can you store logs in UiPath Cloud? What is it by default? What is it?
I don't think like
1 month.
it's based on the business scenario, right? How many days they want to keep it. It's not something like you have it, you have to configure it.
By default, it is for 30 days.
1
How many
month.
days can you try? How many days can you store queue items in Orchestrator? How many days can you store? It's for 30. After 30 days, now this is in the newer version of UiPath. These are the details that we have. So if I go into Orchestrator, so here is the organization, tenant, and orchestrator. Now if you're going into automations, and if you're checking in the queues, if I create a queue, and can you see action retention duration? How many days do we have?
30.
But you can change it. Okay, so if you want to change queues for a specific amount of time, you can change it, and it is a queue based change that you can maintain. So again, by default there are few settings, and if you want to change them, you can change. What if, okay, I think we are going cross topic. Let's go ahead and continue. So most of the activities that we have, or most of the options that we have, so UiPath stores its queues or its data for 30 days. And is there any reason? Because UiPath will be loading up with all your information, right? Their servers will be loaded up with all the information. So all they will do is after 30 days, they will send a key or they will send a code to remove everything that is having a queue to have less than 30 days or more than 30 days deletion. They will just delete them. So it's in your task. It's your task to store, or it's your task to give what is the max storage time. Okay. Next, again, how many of you are aligned with me? Because I'm going into Orchestrator, I will give you the different options in the Orchestrator, and I will tell you other details.
Yeah, Vajrang, how to allocate the licenses for different tenants?
Sure, I'll tell you that. Okay, one more question, one more, like, since we have completed around 30 minutes, sorry, around 45 to 50 minutes of our session. If you are liking this session, take a screenshot of it and please post it in your LinkedIn and tag me so that I can understand.
Yeah, sure.
And you can just take a screenshot now. Give me a second. I'll just share you the notes. Yeah, you can take a screenshot now and you can write your comment and tag me so that I can see. You can tag Vajrang or Vajrang. There will be a rocket next to my name and use hashtag vajrangtalks. That's how you're going to tag me. These free sessions will be conducted every month, and my major target is how to make you get placed. Now jobs are opening or the market is opening, and each and every person need to or will have some questions on how they are answering. So there are multiple opportunities that we are providing as an organization. So be in touch. By the way, how is it? Is it interesting or is it boring? Is it something new that you're perceiving, or is it boring?
Very informative, Vajrang.
Okay. Like what did you feel that this is something new that I'm learning, Bagi?
So many things. I have worked with the enterprise orchestration with respect to my company, but then still there are so many basic things which I missed out on, and lot of things like 80 to 90% of the basic things which you have covered is really helpful.
Great, good to know. Umesh, you're saying something?
No, I think I already shared it. I just posted in LinkedIn.
Great, good to know. So I'm checking with the chat and I will see if there are any questions or anything. How many types of queues are there? Is there any option to change log deletion time? One interviewer is asking me without Orchestrator how to manage your asset because of security. I think it's for credential. He's asking about credential. New, in progress, abandoned, retried, deleted, successful. Okay, these are the details. Okay, all those are questions. Again, you can get all those questions and the notes from me if you are waiting till the end of the session. Okay, this session will be continued for 30 more minutes, not more than that, because most of the other things will be covered in the fast-paced environment, and yeah, we'll try to complete everything. Okay, so inside your orchestrator or inside this tenant, so this is the reason this is called tenant. Inside this tenant, you will have, again, the segregation is pretty simple. Now there is orchestrator. Okay, in this orchestrator, across this tenant or across this environment, there are multiple ways you can manage. This is called role-based access control. Now, to enable or to allow anyone to a environment, first thing that you must do is go to admin panel, click on accounts and groups. You can give invite to a user. I can just give abc@gmail.com. And I can select what is the membership that they're going to add. Are they going to be an admin, or will they be citizen developer, or will they be Automation Express user? So all these can be taken from here and you can click on invite. All they are going to get is an email with registration. That's simple. Now there is a difference between user, robot account and group. Can you tell me, or okay, let me complete. A user is a human who is using this orchestrator. Robot accounts are the runtime environments where you are running unattended mode or attended mode robots. So robots are also treated as users. Groups contain both users and robots. And can we create a robot account with automation developer license or automation developer group? Can we do it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, you can do, but normally we will not do. So there is always an option for you to add some members across all the users. If you see automation users, you will be given licenses like automation developer named user and automation express. If you are using automation express, then you will be given only automation express only. So when you're saying automation express, you can take as business user. Studio X is the license that you will be provided. Automation users will be attended named user. So they will not have studio, but they will have only UiPath assistant alone. Okay, so they will not have studio or they will not have anything else. All they will see is this assistant. Whatever they want to interact, they can interact only with this. Now, citizen developers, again, Automation X users and everyone. So when you are given an access for everyone, will you be provided with any license? No. So if you want, you can also change the licenses or edit them. So how many members are assigned to this? You can also see over here. Okay. Now, can you create more roles? You can create more groups. Let's say that I have I'm right now working with a new team that is Jan 2020. So all the members I'm adding in this team should be given admin access as well as some other details. So create allocation rule. So I can add all these members. I can give allocation like this and hit on save. So whenever I'm adding a member, they will be given this access. Automation Express and named user. That's how we are going to take with the group allocations. Okay. So again, what is one major difference between users and robot accounts? Now, will a robot account require Orchestrator UI access?
Not required.
So normally for robot accounts, Orchestrator UI access will not be available. For users, we will have Orchestrator UI. Okay. If you want to invite users in bulk, you can also have a CSV to upload or invite user. Now, once you invite, you need to add them. You need to go into manage access, or you can also directly go into an orchestrator, click on manage access, and here you will see all the members as well as the robots. And if you're seeing, this is a pipelines robot. Now, can you see the access that's available? For pipelines robot, personal automation, is it enabled?
No.
Because they cannot do any personal automation for themselves. Unattended setup, yes. And allow orchestrator, are they allowed with orchestrator UI access? So, but can we provide them orchestrator UI access?
I don't think.
Yes, that's right, because this is a robot account. Okay, but for users, we can enable or disable robot access. Orchestrator UI access. So how to do that? You need to go into a user, click on here, edit, enable or disable. Since I'm the only user, this is disabled for me because I'm an admin. Okay, let's go with few other details. I'll go step by step and we'll continue. Now you can create all different types of jobs, assign roles, everything from this plus symbol, and this search window acts like a global search which searches across all the different options that we have. If you want to search for a job or anything, you can search from the direct global search. And here you can see with the notifications, for example, job failed or any alert that you have, you can select over here. And here you can click on my reports. So if you are generating any log reports or anything, you can create or take over here. Now again, I'm using a community with enterprise license. So there are still some restrictions available in my orchestrator. So I'll show you what are those. So now reports. If you're seeing reports, how many days reports are accessible?
7 days.
So if you generate a report, you need to download it within 7 days. Okay. Now here, this is a place where you can change your tenants directly. Now I'm into Vajrang Personal. If I want to change to QA, I can change. So this is a drop down that will help me to do it. Okay. And there are multiple other preferences. I don't want to go in that. I will give you some details that you cannot get it in your community version. Now, for these robots are used or like users where we can manage all the users or robots. And if you can see here, this is a robot account. This is a local user with attended access. Now, if you can see here, folder. Now, what is the difference between, what is the collection between robots? Okay, let's take it like this. Let's give something called as mapping. So in this, let's take like this, a multi-level list. So we have an organization. Inside organization, what do we have? Inside tenants, what do we have? Services. One of the services is Orchestrator. Inside Orchestrator, we have folders. You can treat as teams. HR team, insurance team, and what else? Payroll team. So like this, folders can be segregated. Now tell me something. An automation that is developed by HR team, do a payroll team require that same automation?
No.
Not required. So this is how we are going to divide the automations. So again, there are multiple mix and match activities that are available. Now, anything that is deployed across the tenant or across the package, let's say that few automations are available and must be used. For example, timesheet. There is an automation to fill in the timesheet. Now that's same across all the different team members. Now, if you are deploying it to one team or one folder, can other folders access it?
No.
Where will you deploy? We'll deploy across the tenant. So here you will deploy it in the packages. So any automation must be accessed across all users or all teams, must be deployed where? To tenant packages. So this is one of the limitations that we have with the classic folders. Now in classic folders, we don't have an option to create multiple folders. There is only one folder, and inside that folder We used to deploy everything, and all the team members and everyone in the organization have access to each and every automation, which is somewhat incorrect. So that's the reason UiPath came up with a newer version from 2020 10.10 version, and from then we are having this modern folders as a service. Clear? Now in this, what are the other options do we have? In this, you can see there is something called My Workspace. Now inside folders, there is also some folder called as My Workspace. What is this My Workspace? For example, I'm developing something for my own automation and I don't want to share it with anyone. I want to keep it within my confined environment. If I deploy it in tenant, will everyone be able to access it or not?
Yes.
If I deploy it into HR teams and will all my team members be able to access it or not?
Yes.
So that's the reason this My Workspace is a folder that is available only for one user. It's a personal workspace folder, and anything that is deployed over here will not be accessible to anyone, even the admins. Clear on this? Now
Yeah.
in here, let's go with few more details. In here, there is something called My Packages. So this My Packages will also contain code to store information, and that is not connected with tenant. This is nowhere connected with tenant, and whatever I have deployed here, can I create a process in any other folder or can I create a process only in my workspace? If I create a package in my workspace folder, can I create a process in other folders with the same package?
Yes, we can do it.
You cannot do it because that's your personal workspace folder, and storage buckets here you have it, right? Now in prod, if I go into automations and add process, if I see there is no such folder or no such package available. But if I go into my workspace and if I click on add storage, add process, can you see my process that are available or package that's available? Okay, so if there is anything, these are folder restricted. You can take simple example. Now you have something in your folder, in one of your folder. Can you access the same file from a different folder, or you need to go into the folder to access it?
We need to go into that particular folder.
Exactly. So whatever changes you do, you will do it only in that folder. So that's what you can take. Now, can you create subfolders in a process in a My Workspace folder? Can
Yes, I
you?
think.
No, you cannot. There is only one folder. Now, this My Workspace folder or this particular folder, this is a classic folder, personal workspace folder. Now, this is one of the important interview question, as well as this is one of the question in your certification of UiPath advanced certification. Okay, UiPath E, like the advanced certification in the newer version, this is asked, and I have taken the certification and I completed it. So if you are converting a classic folder into a modern folder, so this is what you will get. Now by converting personal workspace folder into a new folder, you can convert into a folder. Like, okay, I have created my own personal workspace folder, but I want to share it with all the team members. I don't want to create one more folder, and I don't want to move everything. I just want to just change the current settings to a completely team folder. So I can do that, and once I do it, a new empty personal space folder will be created for me. So this folder will be replaced by the new folder with my name, and the current folder will be changed with its name, new folder, and then I can convert. Now, when I convert it to a different folder, can I create more folders or more subfolders inside it?
Yes.
Yes, because that acts
Yes.
as a general folder. Now, if I click on convert, okay, let's wait. Let's see what will happen. So every time you like a topic or you like something, then go ahead and give a thumbs up. Now, if you can see the name of SAV Vajrang and converted is already in place. So if you are seeing here, there is already a folder with this name. I have already converted it earlier. So that's the reason it's not allowing me. I can delete it. So there are 10 process actions, storage buckets. Do you want to delete everything? You can check it. But this is how it's happened. Like once I converted this is how I got. And I can do all the folder activities as I do with other folders. I can also create my own, add separate subfolder also. Let's just go here and create a subfolder. Now, can you see create a subfolder over here? You can also do that.
Yes.
Now I can click on process and I can check on with all the details, and I can go to folder packages and I can do all the details. So now if I want to convert this workspace into this, then I need to rename this, and there cannot be two folders with the same name. So that's the error that it's throwing. Okay. So these are about folders. Now each and every folder will have, now when you're creating a folder, there is something that's unique. Go to folders and click on, you can create folders as well as subfolders. And if you click on folder, let's create a subfolder. Pipelines, I'm going to click on shade and add a subfolder, and here shared live and click on create. Now when you click on shared live, so it incorporates or it takes the settings from the parent. Okay. Now if you're seeing here, when I'm creating a parent folder, it's asking me if you want to have a tenant package field or a new package field. What is the difference between these two? If you are selecting tenant package feed, it will use the existing tenant package feed. It will not have its own place where you can store the packages. But if you are using this new package feed for this folder, whatever you're uploading here will not be accessible to anyone. So that is the difference. Okay. Now once you create it, give a name, tenant live, and click on create. Now tell me something. If I create a folder, will that folder be accessible to each and every user of my team? Is it a yes or no?
No.
No.
No. The reason is, though you have created a folder,
Manage
again
access.
it's restricted. So you need to go into tenant live and you need to give assign group or external user, and you need to select all the users that you need to give. So that is the reason, instead of giving it to a group, we will give it to a dev team. So we'll create a group called automation users or automation developers, and all the automation developers will have what access? Development access, and they can also be folder administrator. They can also check with that and click on assign. So any user. Okay. Now if I'm having 50 users, I cannot give each and everyone an access, right, for this particular folder. Rather than that, if you're giving a group access, all the users in this group will have access for this folder, for this particular tenant line. Clear on this? Okay. Now checking with monitoring. Now this is a place where you can check with all the settings, or where you can monitor how many jobs are running, how many are stopping, and how many machines are connected to your
Vajrang,
assistant.
one question I'm having.
Go ahead.
Like before giving the permission to the automation users, like do you create any group saying automation users and you add all the people into that group, or the people who is having the automation user role will be defaultly created as one group by the
So
UiPath itself?
if you remember here in the admin panel, we have groups, accounts and groups. And here, if you have groups, so here we will create all the groups and we will add users in this group.
Okay. Okay.
So if you want to create new groups, you can create, but normally we will use the existing groups.
Okay. Yeah,
So these are
understood.
generic and available across all the environments. So we'll use them.
Okay, we need to add members into that groups, right?
Exactly.
The rules. Okay.
So
Okay, understood.
let's say that I have a new team member and he wants to be joined as a developer. Now I need not go into each and every folder and change his roles. I can directly go into the admin panel and I can add him as a automation developer.
Okay.
Clear on this?
Yes, clear.
Okay, great. So there is something that in the interviews you will be asked about the machines. Machines are robot types. Okay. Now, if you can see here in the machines panel, there are multiple machines: machine template, elastic robot pool, cloud robot, cloud robot serverless. Okay. So I'll give you each and every detail: machine template and elastic robot pool, cloud robot VM, and cloud robot serverless. So which options are we using most? And can you see standard robot option over here? So in the previous versions, we used to have something called a standard robot, standard machine, deprecated. I'll give you some differences, but you need to understand something. So a machine template can be treated as something like a, what example can we give? Do you know call center? Take an example of call center. In call center, there will be 30 machines. Now in call centers, what will happen? User can take any machine that they have. They need not sit on only one machine. They can log into any machine and they can take their own user one. So this is the scenario that will be available in call center, and this is the same scenario that's there in machine template also. Okay, I'll give you. Let's try to understand. I'm in a call center and I started my shift, and my machine that I have used yesterday is not available today. Okay, now will I be restricted, or should I wait for that machine to come back to me, or can I log into a different machine?
You can log into different machine.
Now, in a different machine, do I need to use only my login credential, or will there be a login that's available for that machine and everyone must use only that username and password? So everyone will have their own usernames and passwords and everyone can log into that machine. Is it correct? Now, if I can connect to any machine, so will all the users have access to all the machines?
No.
They need to have, because I'm logging in only with one machine. But if I don't have access to machine 2, or if I don't have an account in machine 2, then will I be able to log into machine 2 using this login? See, I'm not into any machine now. Okay, but I have access to all the machines. So I can use any machine to access my user 1. Is it correct? I'm sorry, someone is replying, but their voice is very low. So you can take similar approach in the jobs. Now a job, let's take an example of a job. A job will check for, let's say that I asked a robot, or I've started with a job. Now robot will check which machine is available and which user is available. Okay. So if machine 1 is in progress or in execution, now it will go into machine 2. Now if this is in progress, it will go into machine 3. But there is something else. In machine 1, if user 1 is in progress, okay, I have enabled this so that multiple users can log in. This is a server for me. So multiple users can also access. So user 1 is trying to work on this machine. Can user 2 work on the same machine? Having a different monitor, different keyboard and different mouse. I have a server. In that server, I have a virtual environment where that virtual environment is being accessed by different devices. Now, can I use this or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can treat a machine template in the same way. It will dynamically pick up whichever host. So machines are called hosts, or machine names are called hosts, host names, and users. These are called usernames. So whichever user is available, it can pick up dynamically. Or if you want to assign one user for one machine, you can also do that. That is the advantage of machine. Machine using one particular user. But when you're going with standard machine, since this is deprecated, you can have one machine with one user. Can you create one more user, or can you use one more user for this machine? No. So that is the roadblock for this setup environment, and that's the reason we went with call center or this machine template, and where we will be able to have multiple machines, and in every machine we'll have multiple users. So user one can access this machine, or if that machine is not available, user 1 can access this machine. If that machine is not available, user 1 can access this machine also. But how many places can one user log in at a time?
Only
One.
one.
Only one. So will our machine be utilized dynamically? And also we can use our access at any point or at any machine that we have. Now checking with the audit. This is the place most of the admins will have access. I will be having, or I will have the access to check who created an asset, who deleted an asset, who created a folder, and who deleted a folder. Now, if you remember, I have created tenant live. Okay. Now, if you can see here, 9 minutes ago, folders are created. Now, if you can see here, folders creation, assignment, automation developers, tenant live. So tenant live folder is assigned to automation developers. So this is how I can track which user is doing what activity. I didn't get your voice. Sorry, please speak a bit louder. Okay. And along with this, there is credentials option that are available. Now, we all know that we will be able to store orchestrator credentials, or we'll be able to store emails and passwords, right? But along with this, we can also add different storage. Like if I want to add AWS secret or Azure Key Vault secret or CyberArk, all the third-party secrets I can store from here. If I want to have my own database, I can also check with my own database. Proxy local create. Again, orchestrator name database is already used. So if I'm having already a database, I cannot create one more. So this current database is already being used. So is there only one option to store our credentials, or how many options do we have? Someone is talking, but their voice is too low. Who's that? Ajay, is it you?
No, no. In
Okay.
assets, we can store credentials. I think so.
Exactly. But Orchestrator is not the only place where you can store credentials. You can also add different other properties and you can store there directly. You need not store your credentials. For example, in my organization, I don't have access, or I'm not allowed to store passwords anywhere except CyberArk. So I will add, like I can connect my CyberArk over here, okay, and I can give my application ID, password, and everything, and I can link my CyberArk account over here, okay. If I'm trying to store my credentials, or if my organization wants me to store my credentials in AWS, I can store over there and I can give the link over here. Now, along with that, let's see about licenses. Now, this is the place where we can control how many licenses do we have for this particular tenant alone. Now, for this particular tenant, how many licenses do we have?
Two licenses.
One license is for production and the other license is for, so okay.
Testing.
Testing.
Licensing concept, I would like to give you a few details. Again, let's complete this one. Elastic Pool Robot is again maintained, Cloud Robot VM and Cloud Robot Serverless are maintained by UiPath. You are not going to maintain or you are not going to host anything. Elastic Robot Pool is a service. Like if you can create a Azure pool, and in that pool you can add all the robots, and if you give the pool over here, it will take it dynamically. Now, I haven't seen any organizations using Elastic Pool till now. Maybe there are very big organizations where I don't have access, so I'll not be able to give you complete information. But most of the organizations right now are using only machine template, so it's safe for you to say machine template alone. Okay. Now, one quick answer that I would like to give you: in Cloud Robot serverless, okay, and cloud, you can only execute cross-platform automations. So what are cross-platform automations? That doesn't depend on Windows. So, can someone tell me some automations that can be cross-platform that you have encountered? What are some automations? Sujna, you want to tell something?
Studio.
Studio Web is correct, but yeah, some automations are something like this: access email using Office 365 service and forward them. Also use Chrome automation. You cannot install something, but you can use Chrome automation. So automate using automations using Chrome Chrome only, Chrome browser only. API automations. Make API call, loop in all the fields, loop all collection, and download all attachments, or a node download, and send email with the details. So in all these automations, do we have any UI interaction?
No.
So any automation that is not having UI interaction can be done with this. If you want to do UI automation, do it with Chrome. So such automations can be done in cross-platform automations, and only see, cross-platform automations can be executed in serverless as well as virtual machines in our machines, but serverless can execute only cross-platform automation. The reverse is not possible. Okay, you cannot install, so you cannot do any UI automation inside serverless. That's one important activity that you must remember. Next.
The cross-platform automation means
you can run it in Mac, you can run it in Windows, you can run it in Linux, everywhere.
Okay.
Now, checking with the details about scheduling the bot. Let me check on this. Now the other part is Cloud Robot VM. Now we are having one virtual machine, right? Now our machine can be a machine can be a robot. In the same way, there will be robot units consumed, and it will be 5,000 units per month. And UiPath will give its own machine to host our robots. Again, do a developer need to know all these things? No. If you say all these things, is it beneficial for you? I would say don't even talk about this until an interviewer asks you about it. Okay. Till then, you can stay with machine template, and you can tell how to give machine templates and access. Okay. Now with licenses part, coming back to licenses. Okay. So licenses, UiPath gives licenses across an organization. So in an organization, there can be 5 unattended robots and 5 attended and development robots. So we can divide this across the tenants. So tell me something. Do a production as tenant requires a development robot?
Not required.
Production tenant, what are the robots that are required?
Attended and unattended.
Production robots will never have attended. We will always have unattended only. I'm going to give 4 unattended. So attended are user robots. For example, one of my manager wants to run some automations, and I'm going to assign him an attended robot. Though it's a production environment, it's his own environment, right? So it's an attended user for him. Okay. So here, this is 4 unattended. I can give and 1 attended. So this is for my manager. Okay. For development environment, or I can give, I'm going to divide it like this: 3 unattended. Now, while development, I need to test my automations in unattended mode. So I'll give 1 unattended here and 5 development robots. In QA, I give 1 unattended and nothing else, 1 attended. What happens to remaining 5 attended robots? They will be unassigned, and if I want to increment, I can increment here. Now, how to do that? Go to tenant admin panel. So in this, you have licenses. If you see the licenses, I have 2 automation developer and 100 automation express. And in robots and services, I have 1 unattended and 4 data service units and computer vision units I have. Now this will be divided across all the different tenants. Now in personal workspace, in licenses, how many unattended robots do I have now?
0. Okay, you have 1.
I have already 1 from the tenant, and I have assigned it. So if I have already assigned 1 license to this, can I assign it to other tenants? Can I assign it?
Yeah.
The answer is no. Let's try to do it. Okay, I have already assigned this 1 out of 1. Let's see this, edit allocation. Now how many licenses are available for me to assign?
0.
So there is one license available in my tenant, sorry, in my organization, and that's already consumed by Vajrang personal, so that I cannot use it across all the other different tenants. So if I want to assign it over here, edit allocation, let's try to assign it over here and let's save it. Is it a valid input? No. So if I want to remove them, edit allocation, change it to 0, save it, unassign the license. Now you can assign it back to a prod environment.
But what Vajrang, like once it is used by one of the tenant, it should have shown as one of one for the other tenants as well, right? Or it's not available.
So it is showing 1 of 1 because in one license, it is assigning one license already.
Yes.
Okay. So in general, there is one license in the tenant.
Yes.
Out of them, how many are assigned?
0 are assigned.
So if I want to change it, I can change it. And here you can see I can add one. So one license is available and I can save it. So now there is one license in the tenant and I have already assigned one license to this environment.
But when you go to the other tenant, it is showing a 0 of 1. Still it is showing a 0 of 1, right? But
Yeah,
it is
so
used
no,
by the development tenant.
So it is not showing or it's not giving information if it is already being utilized by a different tenant.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I go into edit allocation, here you can see if it is available or not.
So that's the only way to check it, like whether it is used or not, right?
Exactly, because it should not have a information or this, we should not have any information about other tenants, right? So let's say that you have information like it's assigned in the dev environment, then you are having a linkage between development and prod, which is incorrect. They should not be connected at any instance.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. So first you need to go and install or take the purchase the licenses. So when you purchase the licenses, you can go into licenses over here and you can see robots over here and robots licenses. There should be an option for me to consume or take it trial. Maybe we'll see later. Okay, now there is one more interview question, like this is for the admin team. How can you purchase more licenses? See, never tell an answer directly. Let's go ahead and talk to UiPath team, because if you are in connection with UiPath, they will assign you one salesperson and you can directly check out like sales.uipath.com. So you can click on sales automation. If you want to purchase something, contact us. There you can fill out the details, technical support team or cloud product support licenses and activations, enterprise users, and you can fill out this form. This is disabled because I have enabled some. Yeah. Can you see here? You can fill all those details and directly you can add or you can purchase something and you can give all the details. Now in this, there is something called device or license code. What is this license code? Go into your orchestrator. Here, can you see this support ID?
Yes.
This is your license code. Okay. If I change anything, that will not work. So using that license code, UiPath will know where to whom it's talking to. Clear on this? Were you able to understand now how to give licenses and all across different tenants and folders? Now again, this is only for machines, right? Now here there is something else. Now inside prod tenant, okay. Now you can assign it to any robot, 3 unattended robots. So you need to create 3 unattended 3 robots and assign licenses to them. How to do it? I'm going back, removing the prod license from here, licenses or dev environment. Yeah, change select allocation, change it to 0, click on save, go to Vajrang personal, click on edit allocation. Let's add 1 here and save. Now here, how to give it inside an orchestrator? Go to orchestrator. Okay. Now, where do you want to create it? I want to create in my workspace folder, automations, or I need to go into tenant, machines. Okay. Now, if you can see here, there is standard machine, this Outlook, right? Vajrang, CPG Vajrang and all. Now you need to go into the machine, edit machine, and can you see the number of licenses that are given? Now, why do we have numbering over here? Remember this concept, how many robots or how many users can a machine have? How many users can a machine have? Treat it as your computer. In your computer, how many accounts can you have?
Multiple.
So one machine can have how many users?
Multiple user accounts.
So let's assume that there are 10 users and I can give instead of how many licenses did I provide earlier here?
3 unattended and 2 attended for prod.
2 attended, right? Now I'm talking about unattended only. So out of 3, I'm going to give 2 over here. There is one more machine where I can give one more license.
Yes.
So how many robots can run in this one machine if I'm giving 2?
2.
And how many robots can the other machine run?
1.
So did you understand the difference now? Why are we having a numbering for a particular
Okay.
machine? So like this, in this machine, I can also have testing license. So testing robot can also run this machine.
So it will be 1+1.
Yeah. So it's one testing and one production. Okay. Let's say that user one is accessing production. User two can access testing license to do testing operations, not for production environment. Clear? Now here, now you can also give what type of automations can it run. Can it run only foreground automations? Can it run background automations, or can it run everything? You can also tell what is it compatible with. Is it compatible with Windows only, or is it compatible with cross-platform only, or is it compatible with all? You can also select those when you're selecting a machine. Now, important interview question that will be asked. Let's say that I am running a robot. I have designed something and resolution is not working properly. Now, how to change resolution? Is the resolution linked to a user or a machine?
User.
Exactly. Now in machine, you will not have any resolutions, but in robots, if you can see here, you can go with manage access. Okay. Go into a particular user, edit robot options, and here you can set its resolution, width and height and depth. So I can change it to 768. So this is one of the most common interview question, and you can update. So whenever robot logs in, what is the resolution that it will be logged in with?
User account, whatever we have.
Correct. Now, if you don't give anything, it will be 1024 by 768. That is the minimal resolution. Okay, clear on this? Now, this resolution interview question will be
What
asked.
does it mean actually?
Okay, now this is my screen resolution, right? Let's say that I am using screen resolution or resolution of the display. Now, this is my resolution. Now, if I change the resolution to 1366 by 768, is the resolution changed?
Yes, it will change.
It will change. Like things became much more smaller, or your view changed completely. Is it right?
Yeah.
Now, when you have bigger resolution, more things can fit into the screen. When you're having like, let's say that you designed some code in 1920 by 1080, now your resolution is 1020 by 768. You will have scroll bars. The simple example is this browser. Now, since this is in this screen resolution, you don't have a scroll bar. But if you change the resolution, did you get a scroll bar on the right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, will a robot be able to scroll left and right? No, right? So that is the reason we are changing the resolution to lesser. Now there will not be any, like all the screen will be available. But if you can see, the screen resolution changes, or the along with some changes in the text also. The text font size will be changed. Okay, so all these things will affect. Major effects will happen when you're using image automation, because if there is even small change, it will not work. Okay, so I'm going to close this session for now, since we have completed 2 hours of the session, and yeah, there are more things to discuss. Do you want me to continue to take one more session on this or not?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, yes, we need it.
So one last thing that I would like to give, or I would like to tell, from like, since our organization is continuously working with the training of UiPath, next from 4th we will be having next training program, and we will be working with UiPath basics and UiPath projects. And I believe most of you here are already having experience with UiPath. If you don't have experience, then start with UiPath basics. And there will be one more meeting in the next week, 27th. So join in that meeting. Sushma again will send you the invites. So keep stay connected, and where you will get the connections. Every meeting that will be shared across all the members will be for free. Okay, and you will have details about our training programs. At the bottom, you will have kind of contact us. So just fill in your information. Our team will connect with you. Clear? One final thing. Now, along with all these activities, we are having daily free sessions. And in daily free sessions, I think this meeting link is closed. We will be adding it back. But in daily free sessions, from Monday to Friday, we'll be covering on all these topics. And this will be repeated sessions. You will be working with installation and setup, building your first program, working with files, managing local files, along with GitHub repository, and how to share your code within the organization. So this also will be, the information is also available in our vajrang.org website. Go ahead and check it out. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can add it in the contact us form, and our team will connect with you. So that's it for today, and I would like to know the feedback about this program. So can you please unmute and talk? We have 33 members more in the program. So can you please unmute and talk about the feedback, so that we can add more details in the next session also.
Vajrang, Umesh here.
Yeah, Umesh.
Vajrang, like I have been following you like in the YouTube as well as the LinkedIn for
Okay.
past maybe for an year now, and I
Okay.
have been attending few free training sessions as well as some live trainings which has been given across in the teams here. Okay, and it was very much helpful, like going through the basics and having some projects. There was some demo projects which has been given as well, so it was helpful.
Correct.
And this thing, like, talking about today's session, keeping the point in mind of the interview feedback, or also how to attend the interview and what type of questions you do get in, and concentrating only the orchestrator, which is a major component, I would say, in UiPath. This is very helpful, I would say, and it has been planned very well, and it's very kind of interactive thing. So today's session was a lot more interactive, where you have been asking questions, and people who has joined in, they are able to answer them. So that's really helpful. So interactive thing is something like which will be beneficial going forward as well for all the next sessions. So thanks for Vajrang for arranging all these free. I know, like, it's not that easy to arrange free sessions on a very good technology or else automation tool which is there currently in the market. And thanks for organizing them and enabling like all of us to keep learning on the technology here in RBA tool.
Great
Thanks
to know,
again.
Umesh. Thank you so much. Anyone else? I would like to take feedbacks from two more members. Okay, my name is Vajrang, Vajrang. Ajay. So heartbeat is like your heartbeat. If robot heart beats, then it will send a signal to orchestrator that my heart is beating and I'm ready to work. Okay, so that is small connection between orchestrator and robot, which says that when the last heartbeat is sent, or when it sent the last message stating that I'm active and I'm ready to take the messages. So that is heartbeat. Ajay, did I answer your question? Okay, we have Sheikh Asha. Asha is from project stream. Asha, can you unmute and talk?
Yes, Vajra.
Yes. What is your feedback on the program, on this today's session?
I felt that there's a lot of information which I need to know about the orchestrator.
Yes.
I thought I know most of the topics. I thought this would be my revision session about the orchestrator, but I don't think so. This is more than that. This was very good, Vajrang. You have done a really very good job. You are helping people to know about the orchestrator. It was really good. It was very much informative. Thank you very much, Vajrang.
Thank you so much, Asha. Okay, then. So that's it for today's session. Have a great learning and connect with me. Orchestrator Pro Max session. Yes, we are going to have one more, and 2 hours is not sufficient. We are going to have 2 more hours in the next session. And all the best to everyone. Bye bye. I would be very happy to, if you can take a screenshot and post it in the LinkedIn, just give out a feedback on what's completed. I'll stay on LinkedIn now and I will see. And all the members that I'm seeing some feedbacks, I will directly send the meeting notes and the recording link directly. There is no need for you to fill the form. Okay, it will be sent either to your WhatsApp groups, or if you can connect back with me showing your feedback, then I can share it in the WhatsApp or LinkedIn. If you are sharing it in LinkedIn directly, I will give you a message in LinkedIn on the recording as well as the notes. Instagram also works. Okay, one last thing where you can get me. So LinkedIn, it's Vajrang B. So you can check with LinkedIn Vajrang B, and you can also check with Instagram Vajrang.org. So you can check with Instagram Vajrang.org, Vajrang_org. So this is the link. Go ahead and tag me, and I can directly send you the link for these notes as well as the recording. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.